Hello, my people. Good day to you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone you're listening to this, thank you for tuning in every single day to listen to me on Daily Mind Shift. My name is Michael Ojuola for Mindset Transformation Africa, and in today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about negative thoughts. Let me go straight to it and anchor today's episode on this statement. Negative thoughts that enter your mind don't mind entering. If you don't mind, negative thoughts that enter your mind, they don't mind entering if you don't mind. Yes, I want you to listen to that. Let it settle in, because it is not just me playing with words. This is no word trick. It is a mental truth that I want you to see clearly. You see, negative thoughts are not shy. They don't even need an invitation. They are like weeds. They don't knock. They don't ask for your permission. They show up like uninvited guests with muddy shoes. They are ready to sit on your favorite couch. They are ready to flip on your mental TV. They are ready to change the channel of your thought process. And if you don't say anything, if you don't notice, challenge, or redirect them, they will stay. Not because they deserve to stay, but because you did not mind them saying. You need to know this truth. Your mind has a front door, and you are the doorman. You don't get to control every thought that knocks. Let's be honest about that. You don't get to control every thought that knocks your head or knocks into your mind. You may hear a voice inside you saying you're not good enough. You are all you always mess things up. No one really cares about what you think. You'll never get out of this. See, these thoughts can show up out of nowhere. They will trigger, they can be triggered by stress, by fatigue, or by something someone said or did not say. And there they are, waiting for the right opportunity to knock your door. But here's what I want you to remember today. You are not responsible for what enters, but you are responsible for what remains. Negative thoughts don't own real estate in your mind unless you hand them a lease, unless you hand them a contract. They don't grow unless you water them. You are the doorman of your own mind, and what you allow to linger will start to lead you. See, the problem is not always the thought. I think the problem is majorly the permission we give the thoughts. Not all negative thoughts are lies. Let's be honest about that. Not all negative thoughts in your head are lies. Some are just unhelpful. Some are distractions. Some are outdated voices from a version of you that does not live here anymore. See, the issue is not their appearance. It is your reaction. When you agree with the thought without filtering it, you validate that thought process. You start to own it. You say things like, yeah, that's true. I do always screw up. I'm just the kind of person who never really gets it right. This is probably all my fault. But here's the question I want you to ask. What if the thought is just an echo from an old fear? What if it is not a message to believe, but a noise to mute? You are not what you think. You are what you do with what you think. Let's say, for example, a lie often, this is what I know. Let me put it this way. When you say a lie often enough, and your brain won't, when you say a lie often enough, your brain won't even know the difference, because your mind believes what you repeat. And neuroscience even backs this up. Your brain builds mental pathways like hiking or walking trails, all right? The more often you think a certain thought, the clearer and faster that path becomes. So if your regular self-talk is I'm lazy, I'm stuck, I always ruin things, then guess what? You start to live like that is true. Whether it is true or not, you start to live like it is true. Not because it is reality, but because it is your mental routine. Negative thoughts win when they become your default. So the only way to challenge them is with intentional alternatives. Speak truth on purpose. Even if it feels awkward, even if you don't believe it yet or fully believe it yet, say things like, this is hard, but I've done hard things before. That is the truth. I may not feel like it right now, but I am growing. That is another truth. I don't have to believe everything I think. That is another truth, because repetition rewires your belief. All right, and belief shapes your behavior. Repetition rewires belief, belief shapes behavior. See, silence is agreement to a negative thought, and that is something I want us to talk about. And let me ask you something. If a stranger walked into your house, sat at your table, insulted your character, and you said nothing, what message will that send? It will say, you're welcome here. Your opinion counts. Keep going. That is it. Well, silence does the same thing with toxic thoughts. Every time you hear a mental attack and don't push back, you are allowing it to build furniture in your mind. Negative thoughts don't need you to shout back, all right? But they do need you to notice. Don't just let the words run wild through your mind. I'm a failure, no one really likes me, I'm never going to get it right. No, pause and respond. Where did this come from? Where did that particular thought come from? Is that thought useful or just familiar? Would I say this to a friend? Speak back, all right? Argue with your thoughts. Speak back, even if it is just with your thoughts. Speak back, because silence sounds like agreement. An agreement gives that particular thought, it gives it power. That makes them dangerous, because most negative thoughts they come dressed as truth, and that is why they are so dangerous. They wear clothes that feel real. That voice in your head sounds like you. It uses your tone, your vocabulary, your deepest insecurities, and that is the trap. It doesn't scream, I'm a lie. No, it whispers, I'm probably right. I'm probably right. But here's how you know if a thought needs to be challenged. Does that thought shrink you? Does it make you feel less capable? Does it make the future feel smaller or heavier? If yes, then it is not helping. And anything that is not helping is hurting you. See, you don't have to believe a thought just because it feels familiar. You are allowed to change the script. You're allowed to say, that may have been true once, but not anymore. I'm not going to carry this thought into my day. This is not a helpful pattern, and I don't owe it my energy. So trust builds, lies will break. That's how it is. Trust will build you, but lies will break you. And if even familiar lies need to be rejected. This is what I want you to also think about. Your environment affects what enters your mind. All right. Negative thoughts are not born in a vacuum. They often have triggers. Who are you listening to every day? What are you watching, scrolling, feeding on? What voices are in your ear while you're trying to build a better life? Some of the thoughts you are battling may not even be yours. They are borrowed from culture, media, toxic people, or old environment. If you stay around constant criticism, your brain starts echoing that same tone, even when you're alone. And that is the truth. If you consume content that promotes insecurity, your internal voice starts playing that same soundtrack. I need you to guard your heart, guard your inputs, not just your social circle, but your social media, your playlists, your group chats. Garbage in doesn't just make garbage thoughts, it shapes garbage identity. So if your mind keeps letting negative thoughts walk in like they own the place, maybe it is time for you to change the neighborhood. It's important for you to change that neighborhood. Mental hygiene is just as important as physical hygiene. We don't skip showers because we did not roll in the mud. No. Why? Because we still collect invisible dirt throughout the day. Same with the mind. All right. You may not have faced a major crisis this week, but you've picked up stress, doubt, comparison, pressure, and that stuff builds. And if you don't clean it out intentionally every single day, every single time, it lingers, it grows, it poisons your peace. Mental hygiene looks like reflecting on your emotional triggers, journaling to declutter your head, taking breaks from screens, listening to content that lifts you up, practicing gratitude intentionally. Negative thoughts will always look for space. You just have to give them less room to breathe. Don't wait until your thoughts are shouting. Check on them every single day. It's like brushing your mind. Check on them every single day. So this is what I want you to go with today. Negative thoughts that enter your mind, don't mind entering. If you don't mind, if you don't notice them, challenge them, or learn to respond to them, they will settle in. And that is not what